What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Tank. Taylor here, and today we're going to be looking at one of the best budget DSLR monitors that I can possibly find. So as you can tell from the title and my little intro there, we're going to be looking at the Feelworld F570, sometimes referred to as the F5. It really varies. There's a few different packages, mainly found on Amazon. That's where most people end up stumbling upon this little guy at. So the F570 kind of denotes that it's a 5.7-inch DSLR monitor. It does support 4K up to 30 frames per second, and then cinematic 4K, which I don't remember off the top of my head that resolution, but I'll put it somewhere right here so you know. It supports up to 30 frames per second. Now, I've seen other reviews say that it will handle and decode 60 frames per second. However, I haven't tried that. 30 frames, it works absolutely great. The monitor is a 1080p display. So while it can handle and decode 4K, what you're gonna see on the 1080p display is obviously gonna be 1080p. So looking at the box real quick, there's nothing in this. Already took it out, made sure it worked. It's Feelworld. I guess there's another, Anderson, I think is like an identical monitor, just a different brand. On the side of it, you can see all of your quick options there, which we'll go a little bit more into detail. Not all of them, but we'll go into most of them. It is a click button display, but enough of chatting, enough of talking about a box. Let's get to the product. So this is the 5.7-inch monitor. You can see I'm monitoring myself in a monitor. Monitorception.
Got him!
But this is the 5.7-inch display. I know I need to wipe it down a little bit. This one is an aluminum frame. It's not plastic, it is aluminum. While as the Sony NP battery mount is made out of plastic. You can change this out, but let's go into a little bit more detail. So, as I was saying, it's 5.7-inch. It does have two mounts on the back with this little adapter doohickey right here, a 3/4 adapter for most mounts. You can move it from right here to right there. So you've probably seen those L brackets, which this one did not come with. I have one ordered, but this one did not come with it. You're able to do that, so that's what you're seeing right here. But 5.7-inch 1080p display monitor, looking real nice. Supports with this bracket that this one came with. It's the Sony NP batteries. Sony NP batteries, pretty standard. Most people have a crap ton of them. It slides in, locks in, and then one adjustment I have is that it does not automatically turn on, but press the button. We'll do startup time, boom. Super bright. I don't have my exposure set for this, but got a little histogram going on right there. And that is the monitor. It looks white. I actually have it set for blue. But like I said, 5.7-inch display, aluminum frame, supports Sony NP monitors. On the top, we have our power button. We have our up and down for our menu. Obviously the menu button, left and right, and you have two function buttons that you can program for whatever you want within the system. So if you want function 1, for instance, my function 1 is a zoom. You can't see it because it's all washed out, but it's a quick zoom for like pixel peeping, make sure you're in focus, everything like that. And then 2, I have is false color for overexposure, skin tones, those kind of things, to make sure that those are all as they should be. On the bottom, you have a DC in, not a DC out. So you can power this with a DC input. I think it's 12 volts. Yep, 12 volts. DC input if you don't want to use a Sony battery if you're home, if it's, you know, if your rig is on a tripod or something like that. 3.5mm headphone jack so you can monitor your audio. USB upgrade port. Looks like a mini USB, micro USB, the old school kind. Then you have two pretty neat ports. You have an HDMI in, of course, to get your HDMI input, and you have your HDMI output. So you're able to set up a secondary monitor. Say you're on a shoot or something like that, or for instance, I have a second monitor. I can be monitoring this while, you know, a director or whatever the case is monitoring a side monitor on the side. course. Now we've looked at the monitor, we've got that out of the way because that's what you came onto the video for. To see this, we'll go into a little bit of the menu, the settings and all that in a little bit. I want to go with what else comes with this package. As I was saying, on Amazon, I've seen a bunch of different packages. There's a bunch of different models. So this is the F570. There's also the F5, the F6, the F6 Plus. There's the Andy Cine monitors, which are identical. They all kind of come with the same stuff and then yet a little bit different. So for instance, this one comes with a little cold shoe adapter. You can see that. It's not horrible. The L bracket is better, but in a little bit, we'll go over what I think are the strengths and the weaknesses of this monitor. I don't want to say pros and cons because I personally bought this monitor for $110. Now, I did get it used. It is in great condition. I've been using it for a little bit now. It's in great condition, no issues, no damage to the screen, no damage to the casing. Everything came originally packaged. I got a good deal. Like I said, I got it for $110 used, eBay. Happened to find it. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. And if you're watching this video, it's because you don't want to spend a whole lot of money. So brand new, it's like $150 to $180. I've kind of seen it range in that ballpark there. I'll put some Amazon links in the description below for various models I find, whether I find a newer one like the A6, which is a little bit better of a deal. If I find one that's a better deal, what I'm saying, I'll include it down below. But the F507, what I've seen, F570, sorry. What I've seen is that all these monitors, all the Feelworld monitors, except for the, I think the A6 Plus, which has a different operating system, pretty much all operate the same way. And we'll get into that menu system here in a little bit. But like I said, comes with this little ball mount kind of cold shoe adapter. It's not bad. I would prefer the L bracket. I have one ordered, it's coming in. But for right now, this is what I've got. I do like the low profile aspect of this, except for the bottom piece right here, the actual cold shoe mount, because you can see the cold shoe is actually separate. And then what would lock into the cold shoe, so I can throw it all the way down. So let's say it's locked into the top of your monitor. This still freely spins because it's just a screw going into the base of that. So you kind of have to tighten it and then screw down the top to really get a good fit. And it could be a little bit better, but it'll work in a fly. Mine also came with a mini HDMI to HDMI adapter. My Sony A3 uses a micro HDMI, but if your camera uses a mini HDMI, then you're in luck. This is the only cable it came with, so I will store this for a rainy day in case I ever need it. Then it comes with one of the biggest things that I've seen change between different versions of the same monitor is the sun shield for the actual monitor. I have seen ones that are all together. This one clips onto the monitor and the sunshade then Velcros onto the Velcro that's going around the side. And then it also comes with an Allen key. I can show you an Allen key. It's pretty plain and simple. And that's it. That's everything that comes with this monitor. So let's dive into the monitor. Let's get the sunshade, sun shield, whatever you want to refer to it as, out of the way. If you can see on the sides here, there's one right there on the top. There's two, one on that corner, one on that corner, and there's another one on the other side. And then obviously the sunshade has 4 little clips. I have seen other people complain about this. However, nope, that one's already clipped in. So you heard that positive click. It's locked in pretty good. There is not really any coming off unless you really jar it, which I just would recommend not doing with a monitor or anything you really spend a decent amount of money on. But it really doesn't come off. I've seen some other people complain about it prying loose. My particular version of it, I guess, it's pretty solid. And then you just take the sun shield, apply it on top, and you're golden. Golden. Works fairly well for as long as you're not in direct sunlight. It works pretty good. But let's break down this guy now. So this particular monitor has a max brightness of 460 nits. The contrast ratio is 1400 to 1. So not a bad monitor. It does have, within the menu system, it does have color calibration. So if you have a way to calibrate, which just using it compared to my on-camera display is damn near the same. But if you want to get, pixel perfect, I guess, as you would say, you can use a color calibrator and you're able to calibrate it as close as you possibly can get. I'm not sure what the RGB range is in accuracy on this particular model, but I know it's pretty good. As I was saying, it supports full 4K resolution up to 30 frames per second, and in cinematic 4K. As it is a IPS panel, if that matters to you. So IPS panels in the world of like gaming and stuff like that usually is more color accurate. We usually refer to TN and IPS panels. This is an IPS one, so it's usually the refresh rate's lower, which comes into the 30 frames per second portion of it, but color quality is going to be there. The monitor itself, not including the base plate, is 18.6 millimeters thick, I believe. Yep, 18.6 millimeters thick. It is LED backlit, and it's fairly even. I didn't see any washed out spots, nothing like that, where maybe the backlight wasn't perfect, and you'll usually see those spots on certain monitors and stuff. You'll see little black areas where it's not quite fully lit, but this one's pretty good. Now let's dive into the menu system. So the menu system, if you can see that, it'll focus on it. So the first option within the menus is your picture mode. So you have standard, dynamic, mild, went the wrong way, dynamic, user, where you can set up your own and you're able to adjust sharpness, saturation, all of that good stuff. Then you have your color temperature where you can manually set it. Oops, wrong way. Getting used to this menu system with the clicks is a little difficult. It's kind of like an old school TV, the way I look at it. But it's not horrible, could be worse. Menu brings you back up to the top menu. Change the English, or I'm sorry, you can change the language from English to whatever else they have in here. You have your various aspect ratios that you can go through. You can change the no signal. I know my color isn't quite coming up right. That's supposed to be red, that's green, black, white, blue, so on and so forth. You have your OSD transparency, you can flip it, your backlight, power on. I recommend setting that to manual instead of auto. So when you plug a battery in, it doesn't automatically turn on unless you want it to do that. That's just the setting that I have. Then you have your zoom feature, which, as I said, I have it set to function 1. And you can set your zoom modes. So how far you want it to zoom in, to the left, to the right, because it's just gonna kind of zoom in at the center by default, but you can have it set to, if you're using the rule of thirds or something and you have your subject over on this corner, you can kind of play around with it and have it always zoom in so you can pixel peep. Then you have all of your functions that come within this monitor, such as center marker. I don't know if you can see it, there's a red crosshair right in the middle. Get that off. Right there in the middle of the no signal. You have a little crosshair right there. And the menu, as I'm saying, takes a little getting used to. You have your safe frames, which is if you're going to be black barring it or doing whatever you're doing with your project, you're kind of able to set that so you have a point of reference. Your 9 grid, rule of thirds, all that good stuff. Image freeze, you can actually freeze the image, take a look at it if you want to look back at stuff. Image flip, in case you have your monitor inverted, you're able to flip that. OSD flip for the same thing, to flip your menu system. Anamorphic, histogram, false colors, focus assist, peaking color, overexposure, exposure level, and just kind of let you know what's in focus, what's not in focus. Then you're able to set your 2 options for your function button. So at function 1, I have a zoom, function 2, false colors. Now, I know that was a lot, really fast and really quick, all thrown at you. But there's a lot of information to go over, and I want to get to the nitty-gritty because you can look up specs anywhere. What is more difficult to find is what I was talking about before, the strengths and the weaknesses of the monitor. You can find specs on products until your face goes blue. You can find that everywhere. I want to go into my actual opinion / review from using the product on what I think about it, quality-wise, picture quality-wise, and everything. If you're looking for a monitor, what you want to know. So first, I'm going to start with the strengths. The strengths is the price point. Brand new, I think I found it for like around $180 on Amazon. Like I said, I got it used. Mine happened to come in great condition. I'm not saying always buy used. I'm not saying don't buy used. Just be careful when you buy used. Mine happened to come in great condition. And I can't be happy enough with a $110 price tag on it, because for 110 bucks, absolutely buy it. 180 bucks, it's a little bit more money. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you don't have $600 to drop on a small HD Focus or something along those lines, where they're up in the $500, $600 range. You're looking for something on a budget, you're getting started, or you value money, and you look at what things are worth. What is a $600 monitor gonna get back for me that a sub $200 monitor can't? And those differences, is it worth that extra money? So strengths are the picture quality, and I'll include a clip right here, just me playing around with my dogs. It's kind of hard to show quality through a videoing a video. So take my word for it, don't take my word for it. It's great, it's sharp. 4K, even down res to 1080 on here, it does a great job decoding it, and it is nice and sharp, and I had no issues with it at all. Everything came out crystal clear. The brightness is great. As long as you're not looking at the monitor in direct sunlight, you're not gonna have an issue even in the days. It gets bright enough to where I really didn't notice any issues. The fact that it takes Sony batteries is fantastic, because all my lights, everything like that runs off these Sony batteries, so I have tons of them, and it's great to use it. There is another mount that you can purchase, I think directly from them, maybe even on Amazon, and it takes Canon batteries. I'm not sure the exact model, but it takes Canon batteries as well. I think the Canon LP batteries, not 100% positive on that. But you can swap out the back bracket and you're good to go. The HDMI out is a great plus. This little changing adapter, great plus. Sub $200, it comes with all of those video assist options. Another plus, great strength to it. I think it weighs somewhere in the ballparks of like 250 grams or something like that. Not counting battery, depending on the battery, like this is a 550. If you have a 950, 970 NP battery, obviously it's a bigger battery, it's gonna weigh more, but you add this onto your rig, and I'll show you on my rig right now. My rig's luckily coming together finally. It's taken a little while, but it's finally coming together. It does add some size to it, but weight-wise, it really doesn't add that much. You're definitely not breaking your back on this. And also keep in mind that this applies to more than just DSLRs. If you're using like a stabilizer or something like that, like a DJI stabilizer, not just to mention a rig, but if you just have a camera, you're doing run and gun, you can throw this into your hot shoe, and you're good to go with a external monitor than looking at the little tiny screen that's on the back of your camera. But it comes with a bunch of really good options, and I kind of want to get into the weaknesses more than the strengths, because the strengths are, this is a fantastic monitor. If you don't watch anything else and you just want my opinion on it, for 180 bucks, unless you find like the A6 Plus or something like that around the same ballpark, and it has, you like the touchscreen, because the A6 Plus does have touchscreen. This does not. I did forget to mention that. There's no touchscreen with this. It is all the functions on the top. Me personally, that's okay. I have a Sony a7 III, and while it does have partial touchscreen, it still doesn't have touchscreen. So I'm not worried about it with a monitor like this, that I pretty much, for my purposes, I set it and forget it. I'll use the histogram, which I leave up. I can quick hit false colors and zoom if I do zoom, if I do. I'm not too upset if something's a little out of focus. I don't get paid for anything I do, so it's just a hobby. So, but that's just my personal preference. Of course, if you need that touchscreen or you need some other options, of course, you're gonna be looking at something else. But if you're here watching this video right now, looking at this product, it's because you're looking for this. So, weaknesses, because they're not cons, they're weaknesses. Con would say I would be giving you a reason not to purchase it. I would just say a weakness. So, weakness are possibly the location of the HDMI ports, being that they're on the bottom. So if you mount it on the top of your camera, now you have HDMIs sticking out right into the top of your body. What I did to solve this was I bought a 270 degree HDMI adapter. 270 degree adapter is this one. And then I have a 90 degree adapter. Take the 270 degree adapter, plug it into HDMI out, and now your HDMI is sticking out the back of the monitor. Boom. Kind of problem solved, depends on how much space you have, but even with this mounted on top of it, I mean, I'm not gonna screw it all the way down because I don't wanna unscrew it, but you still have plenty of room. It's not gonna bang into your stuff, just depends on what you have mounted on your rig. So one weakness is just the location. It's easily fixed with a $5 component, but that is another $5 you have to spend. Would have been nice if it would have included it. Fantastic, I'm not really complaining too much. Another weakness, some people have complained about this red light always being on. The monitor's not on right now. I can hit menu all day long, it's not gonna do anything. It is completely off. But the second you plug in a battery, light goes off. The second you plug in the battery, boom, light on. It's a small LED light. It's really not draining that much power as some other YouTubers complain about. I mean, it's a 1 volt LED, if that just lights up. It's really not draining anything. It's just kind of annoying. I wish it only turned on when it was on, because if you see it, you might think, oh crap, did I leave my monitor on? And nope, it's just the light doing light things. So outside the touchscreen, which of course is gonna be a weakness, the menu system, a little outdated, but I don't honestly know how else you would do it without a touchscreen. I think if you have the big blocks on the side and you're trying to jumble through them, honestly, I think you're gonna have more of an issue than just 4 different sections and you're just going up and down the sections and selecting them. I think that's just pretty intuitive, pretty easy. Pretty much everyone knows how to operate it. Not saying that that's not a good reason to update it in the future, but maybe it's a weakness to you. I don't really mind too much. And then I'm not really comparing this to a SmallHD Focus. Really not comparing a sub $200 monitor to a $600 monitor. Because if you're looking at this, you're probably not trying to decide, hey, let me spend $400 extra or whatever a price is of them right now above this monitor just to get another 5-inch monitor. Maybe has touchscreen and that maybe has a little better OSD, maybe a little better on body functions. But if you're looking at Feelworld, it's because you're on a budget. So really, I don't really have a whole lot of weaknesses for this, guys. This does everything that I needed it to do. I got tired of using my built-in screen on my Sony, and I wanted something a little bigger. So I also don't have to take up a computer monitor to monitor my camera. I can just throw it on top and boom, I have a monitor. When I'm out and about, it helps. It's great with vlogging because guess what? The A7 series, and A9 don't have flip out screens. So vlogging's kind of difficult with it. It's very doable. If you're just good with hand-eye coordination, you can aim it and you can get just fine. But this just helps a little bit. Throws a nice, good sized monitor on top of it. And also this you can use with everything else. So it's not like you're just buying it for one camera and it's stuck with that. This will go on and on and on and on as long as it works and you take good care of it. This one, as I said before, is aluminum framed. I would not suggest throwing it. I wouldn't suggest dropping it. I wouldn't suggest being rough with it. I mean, if it happens, but I don't suggest going out of your way to break it. I don't think you're gonna have any issues with it. It's a great monitor, sub $200. Like I said, brand new. I think it's around 180. I'll have a couple links in the description below for this one, Andy Sin ones, and a couple other monitors around the same ballpark. I'm not gonna also put in there a SmallHD Focus or Atmos or anything like that that's ridiculously expensive. So I know it's kind of rushed, kind of quick. If you guys think I can do anything better, anything like that, you have any suggestions, leave some comments in the comment section below. I read them. I'm not ginormous, I'm not famous, I don't do anything like that. I can actually participate and respond. So let me know what else you guys would like to see, what you'd like to see me do with this, camera gear, anything like that. Or as I also do, you know, tech stuff, computers, all that good stuff. But stay tuned, guys. I've got a bunch of videos planned. I've got some stuff planned with Casey as well, so we can start getting back into the swing of things. I'm finally back on day shift, so I'm a normal human being once again, and I can live life normally. So as always, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching this quick little video about a decent little monitor I found that I thought you guys would also enjoy. As always, y'all have a good day. Like the video if you like it. Leave a comment down with anything you want to say, even if it's, hey, you suck, whatever it is. I appreciate all of it, you know? It's all great. Have a good one.